Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for popping by here. And today I am going to start a new mini series about biodecoding. And so what biodecoding is really looking at a physical symptom or a physical issue, problem, literally anything that happens in our body. It's typically internally, but sometimes, of course, externally, and what it means for us. And so basically how we manifested this pain, this ailment, this illness, this bruise, this cut, this scrape, whatever it may be, is to find the purpose of it through biodecoding. And so what biodecoding is identifying the psychological cause to the ailment in the body. And before we go further, I'll just mention that our emotions are always letting us know when we're in alignment and when we are out of alignment. When we are in alignment, we feel good. When we are out of alignment, we don't feel so good. We have what we call tense, constricting, fearful emotions, what some may call negative emotions, although I don't really call it negative so much anymore because all emotions are good emotions because they're all showing us what's going on within us. And we have those not so good feeling emotions to let us know when we're getting off course so we can course correct and let go of that which was making us not feel so good, but also more importantly, replacing it with our truth, what resonates with us. But here's the kicker, is that if we do not listen to our emotions, if we don't understand our emotions, and especially if we, instead of dealing with and understanding these not so good feeling emotions, if we suppress them, then over time this is going to lead to physical symptoms because our emotions were letting us know, but because we didn't listen to that, now the body steps in as our next guide in the physical realm and says, hold up, this really needs your attention, or else it will get worse. And so this is why ailments get worse until we deal with them. What we miss with Western medicine is that with that we're often addressing a symptom, and what we're doing is we're basically masking a symptom. I call it the Band-Aid effect. It's like you have a symptom and then you treat the symptom rather than treating the cause. So then as long as you have the symptom, you'll keep having the symptom. And sometimes, and actually a lot of times, humans just come to the conclusion on their own. They wouldn't think of it as something to do with consciousness or spirituality, but they just have a realization, they think in a different way, and then their body, their energy changes, and then their body gets better. But what I'm saying is when you have that understanding, when you have that consciousness to understand that there is a cause to every effect in the body, and that we can identify that cause. Now I've given you the tool to heal yourself from anything. And of course, on our journey, sometimes healing ourselves may include assistance from others. And also, it's very important that we do have doctors and healthcare workers, etc., and Band-Aid solutions for people who aren't at that level yet. And there's not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that's the experience they're having. And I know that because that's the experience I had most of my life. And I had so many band-aid solutions, and I was treating symptoms of all types. And that's what I'm going to share in this little series of what I was dealing with and what I've learned about it and how it's moving forward for me. So the first one that I feel guided to share with you is eyesight. So for me, I guess from, I'm not sure exactly which age, I'm guessing maybe in between 7 and 10 years old, I was having a hard time seeing the blackboard. And of course, they sent me to the optometrist to get my eyes checked out. And it turns out that I was deemed that I would need glasses. And so I got the glasses, of course. And I just, at that time, it solidified this belief that there's something wrong with your eyes and you just can't see. So now, for the rest of your life, you are going to have to wear glasses. Or when you're old enough, you can wear contacts. And this is just how it's going to be. And it's just going to get worse and worse until you die. That's what I was fed, and that's what I believed. And now I believe something very different. What I've come to understand is why my body's vision went away, what it was to teach me, and what I've been learning from it. And the reason that felt so awful when I was saying it is because it's not true. We can reverse any ailment that we have. And a quote comes up from A Course in Miracles. I'm definitely a student of A Course in Miracles. I really resonate with that. And it is, a broken body shows the mind has not yet been healed, along those lines. And so whenever I think of these things in my body, I know that the origin of the cause is something in the mind, some sort of distortion, which is, of course, fear. Resistance is fear. Basically, everything that causes every ailment in every single person, internally or externally, is fear when you simplify it completely down. And so what are the fears that caused my eyesight to diminish? So I guess I'll first let you know what has happened with my eyesight. So since I was very young, I had these little, what they call floaters in your eyes. So when you look, you see all these little black squiggly things. Thankfully, the optometrist didn't notice those and didn't treat me for those, because my mom's had treatment for that and that sounded awful. So there's the floaters. Then the main one that I was treated for was just blurry vision. I couldn't see a long distance, and this is what most people who wear glasses or contacts deal with. They can't see far away. And then the next one is, it's called astigmatism. And as far as I know, I'm not an optometrist, but it kind of has this double vision effect. And so now I'll go through what each of those actually was trying to show me so that I could come into more alignment, because the body is always looking out for us. It's people, and I say people because all the people who were around me and which I adopted was to blame the body for these ailments. But the body was actually attempting to help us. It was showing us what we were thinking so that we could change that, because it knew not only would we experience health and well-being, but inner peace. We just feel better if we're thinking in alignment. Because when we're thinking out of alignment, this never feels good. And so yeah, I guess I'll tackle the biggest one first. So the can't see far distances. And of course, some people have the opposite where they can't see close. So we'll touch on both of those. But for me, I can't see far distances. And what this means is I have a fear of the future. So this fear of the future, or fear of any event coming up. And you may say, oh, I don't have a fear of the future. But if you start to hone your sensitivity and really dial in to these subtle things, you'll realize that everything you do, you may have concerns about what's going to happen, you may have worries, and because it's such a program, it's running just unconsciously to you. And so you're not even conscious of all this fear that you're running. People often think of fears as something like arachnophobia or a fear of heights or something. But fear is literally anything that isn't love. And love is always feels good, it's always expansive, it always is relaxing, freeing, peaceful. So if we're thinking anything that's not in alignment with that, also everything that is love is joyful. So any thought that is not joyful, this is a sure sign that that's a fear. And so it could be as simple as you're wanting to go to the grocery store and then you start to worry about your walk there, or who you're going to see, or if it's going to be a good price, or if your card's going to work, or if you're going to find the right thing, or who you'll run into in the parking lot, or the list goes on and on about these little things that come in. So those are all fears. And to look at how one thing I've learned for myself that has been completely life-changing is that everything that happens in our life benefits us. I've said this about the body, but it also is everything externally is just showing us what we have inside of us. So literally every situation we encounter is for our benefit. And so for me, it's taken me some years to really let that sink into my being and to really fully know it. And I'm still working on it. And still life is getting better. So it definitely changes things. And so it's knowing that life can only get better and everything is happening for you and nothing is against you. So that's another big belief people have, is that everything's against them, etc. But everything really is for us. And so that's the first one, the distance. And when people can't see close, it is a fear of seeing what's inside, what's close to them. Fear of distance, fear of the future. And that's the one that I've been dealing with. So that's what I share more about. And then the next one, the astigmatism. What I learned about this is that astigmatism is caused when we do not accept ourselves. And that causes that double vision. And so it's pretty brutal, I'll be honest, when you start biodecoding these things, because you're like, oh my gosh. But it's so worth it, because not only do you start to learn these things about yourself, you love yourself more, you accept yourself more and more, until, of course, ultimately complete and full total acceptance. And then the astigmatism, like right now, my astigmatism is not there. Like I don't have double vision right now because I don't wear glasses most of the time anymore. I'll get more to that near the end of the video, but I'm not wearing glasses now, and the double vision is not here. So that shows me that I have accepted myself, and accepting ourselves also is accepting all others. And that's not accepting them with some sort of condition that if they do this or if they do that or if they change. No, it's accepting them as they are. So it's accepting yourself and all others just as you are right now, here and now, not sometime in the future, but right now. So that's what I learned from the astigmatism, which is very helpful and has helped me so much in my life. And then the next one was the floaters, the little black things. And so these ones I used to get so frustrated about, because it's like why won't you just go away? Why can't I just have clear vision? But what they're showing me is the distortion in my vision. And so what does this mean? So it can mean so many things. Just seeing the reality from a fear-based perspective. It's like something that comes to mind is I used to have such a fear of other humans. And so what was that? It was making other people guilty. And the stories that I would create are just, well, I know it was coming from many different traumas, many from this life, but many from other lives and the ancestors and just humanity in general. But how these issues have helped me in my life has been so profound since I realized about them. Because I set off on a mission to, and I might get emotional here, but accept myself and accept all others, to let go of fear of the future and to trust in my journey. I remember the first time I said, I trust my journey, I literally burst into tears because I had never trusted life. I had never trusted my path. And it's taken me so long just to be able to say and believe and know in every cell of my body that I do trust my journey. I do trust life. And then the other one is to see the world through the lens of my higher self, through the clarity and not the distortion, not through the lenses of fear, but through the lens of my higher self. And so when I first stopped wearing my glasses, one of the most amazing things that I can share is that I started to pick up on all of these stories that I was creating in my head, all these fearful stories that I wasn't aware of because they were all running on autopilot. It's gonna have a drink of water here. Because I could only see these blurry figures all around. And so I was amazed at these stories, like they were all based in fear, and they were all around these fears that I had. And so it was through these stories that I was able to trace back so many of these fearful beliefs, conditioning, programming, all of it distorted with fear, and to release it one by one. And so that was, to me, still is the most profound and the biggest gift of that my body gave me by temporarily taking away my eyesight, is that I was able to much faster have awareness of these stories. So it has helped me so much in my ascension journey and on this journey back to my true self, that I am able to identify these stories by having this awareness when I don't have the clear vision, because I feel like when I see super clearly, the other thing is I am so distracted by, because I'm a very visual person, so I'm so distracted by everything that I don't notice my thoughts. I don't have as much awareness of my thoughts. So another amazing thing that's happened since I stopped wearing my glasses is that I've found it easier to be in touch with my energy, easier to come into my heart and to feel my chakras and really work on that and notice intricacies about my chakras. It's kind of like you think of the blind piano player, and they can't see, but they can play amazing songs because their other senses are heightened. So it's like when I take off my glasses, all of a sudden I can feel more, and I can feel the chakras, and I can really feel when I bring my awareness in my heart, and how amazing that feels. So it's really helped me to be more heart-centered and more in touch with my feelings, which again assists you so much with letting go of fearful beliefs, because again, when they happen, they don't feel good. But if we're not feeling, we won't be alerted to that. So because I'm feeling so much, I become super sensitive to any little resistance, and I can pick up on that and then trace it back to where it's come from, let that go, and replace it with the truth, of course. That's very important, because if we don't replace it with what is true for us, then in a spot it'll just keep looping. So that's just a little key for you here. And so another thing that was fascinating for me at the beginning was when I stopped wearing my glasses, I could really feel the energies of others. Before, I was just staring at their form, seeing what they were wearing, seeing their hairstyle. I love hair, I love fashion, and all this kind of stuff. I just, when I think about it now, I just love this earth so much, and the plants, but it wasn't always this way. When I was living in fear, I had such a difficulty with being here on earth, and it was very, very hard for me. But when I was awakened and learning these things, that's when it started to shift. But when I took off the glasses, then I could start to feel the energies of others. I could know who was coming in and out of a room without even looking, just sensing their energy. And so this was very helpful as well in knowing who I resonated with and who was ready for what, so to speak. So when I think of another person, I think, oh, I can be inspired by them, I can cooperate with them, or I can have compassion for them. And in the past, it would have been something like, I can compare with them, I can compete with them, I can judge them, or these fearful things. But now I think of it as, how is it going to be? And so when I can feel their energy, I know what that will kind of be. Another fascinating thing is that I realized one day when I didn't have my glasses on, around a bunch of people, that we all have codes for each other. And we all have information within us. And even if the human has all sorts of fear filters and patterns, their higher self is still in there. The true self is still in every single one. And so what I could feel is that, and in one particular instance, I could literally feel like this vortex, and I could feel the codes from one person coming into me. And it's like our higher selves were hanging out, doing this work, and I know that their human had no idea, but I really love their human, but it didn't know. But because I was so tuned into these feelings, I could literally feel that happening, and these codes being uploaded into myself from this other person. And of course we attracted, and we are also friends in when we think of human to human or character to character. But it was our actors, our higher selves, that were doing this energetic exchange. And so this is happening too. If we are, sometimes we'll think it was just a coincidental run in, but I felt so good, and wow, that was amazing. Well, who knows? Maybe there was something more happening at an energetic or a vibrational level. And so that's been an amazing thing about not having full vision, is that I was able to feel that and to realize that. And so it's really cool to think that every single human, we all have things for each other. And if someone crosses our path, we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we have something for each other. And it's also never like one gets one and then one loses. Every interaction is completely equal, is another thing I've learned. Even though one human may not get the benefit at that time, every interaction is benefiting every party in different levels, in different ways. Of course, if you think of someone in different situations, it may appear from a human perspective that someone lost and someone gained, but everyone had the experience that they chose to have for their ultimate expansion and growth. And really, all experiences are all designed to gently bring us back to our true self, our higher self, our divine self. And so this has been my experiences with my eyesight. And so thankfully it has been getting better, and but I still feel like I'm learning more, uncovering more stories, being really in tune with the feelings, becoming heart-centered, becoming more present. And I guess the last little one to throw in here is it's really helped me to follow my heart, to just trust, to let go of the thoughts and just trust my heart to which way to go. For example, in any situation where there's a lot of people or a lot of things happening, I can just follow my heart as to what the next best thing to do is. Whether it's shopping, oh, I feel like I go to this place next. Or whether that's doing some sort of exercises, oh, I'm gonna do this one next and then do that one. Or whether you're going for a walk and you're at a crossroads and it's like which one to go, or you're driving, and literally everything. But I do wear my glasses to drive, just so you know. But of course, my ultimate goal, and I know it's up ahead for me. It's already been made clear to me from my future self that I will have my eyesight completely restored, and so I'm so excited to share that with you. And a couple more things just came up to share. So another thing that's really helped my eyes is channeling. So you may be aware of that I do channeling. And whenever I get into that channeling state, afterwards, I will feel my eyes are moist, and I feel them regenerating. So it's when we channel, we're connecting to, at least, well, when I channel, connecting to higher dimensional beings and collectives. And when we are focused on that, on 5D, 7D, 8D, 9D, and higher, we, and 6D, all, basically anything above 5D and higher, is that when we're focused on that, we begin to vibrate in harmony with that. So our vibration increases when we're focused on that. And so I can feel that in my eyes. And the other thing that came up to share is that there's light language transmission. And this is actually from one of my, well, who I consider a mentor, Daniel Scranton, who's also a channel. And he did a light language transmission for healing and restoring eyesight. And I get that same feeling in my eyes when I listen, just by listening to that I do when I channel. And that's that kind of restoring feeling. My eyes get watery, and that feels really good. And sometimes when I'm in a high vibrational state, I'll literally open my eyes and I'll see with clear 20/20 vision. And I'll be like, oh my God, sometimes I almost want to just fall to my knees with gratitude, and then I might blink a couple of times and it'll go a bit blurry again, and then I'll be like, oh, not quite there. But I know that it's for my benefit, and I've shared with you so many benefits here. To summarize, it helps to become aware of the stories we're telling ourselves. It allows us to become more sensitive to our feelings, our chakras, to become more heart-centered, to become more sensitive to other energies around us, so we know how to easier navigate the world. It assisted me with seeing through my higher self perspective, and also another great reason to connect with higher beings and collectives. And even if you don't channel, you can just read channeled material or listen to channeled material. It's going to have the exact same effect, because you're going to be focused on higher dimensional being or collective. That's the main thing I was saying with that. And so, yeah, so these are so many benefits of having vision that is temporarily not quite there. But yeah, as I said, I know it's ahead of me. And one last thing is coming up to share with you, and that is to work with energy and light. So another thing it has taught me is how powerful that I am. That, energy, we have chakras in our palms, and we can do different techniques and bring energy into our eyes. We can also, simply by having the intention of bringing more light and love into our eyes, and to top it all off, this is the perfect ending, is that in order to let go of the fear that caused the loss of eyesight to begin with and the distortions, we need to let go of that fear, but also bring in more love. And the more love we bring in, the more healing we have. And the more love we bring in, we'll likely also become more sensitive to these resistances that are causing the fear, that is causing the ailment to begin with. And so that would be another benefit to this is I have learned to love my eyes so much and to bring more love into my eyes and to work with the energy and to work with light, bring more healing light into my eyes. And about this energy things I've learned from various different teachers. And so just to honor them and respect them, I'm not going to share in this video, but there are so many ways to work with energy and light and to bring it into us. And so yeah, I feel like I could go on and on about these benefits of having poor vision, which you may not expect when you clicked on this video, but that's what it's about, is finding all these positive, finding all the reasons, and ultimately finding the purpose, because everything in our life has a purpose, and it's always to assist us with coming home to our true self, coming home to alignment. And so I am so thankful that I have this to share with you. And thank you for being with me on this journey and checking this out, and sending you lots of love on your journeys today. Bye-bye.